For generations, Nigeria sat on top of some of the largest oil reserves on the African continent and watched almost all of that wealth leave before it could do much good at home. Crude oil would be pumped out of Nigerian soil, loaded onto tankers, shipped thousands of miles to refineries in Europe, North America or Asia, turned into usable fuel, and then shipped all the way back to Nigeria at a much higher price. Nigeria was doing the hardest part, pulling the oil out of the ground, and then paying other countries to do the part that actually made money. That cycle is now being broken in a way that nobody outside Africa fully anticipated. The Dangote Refinery, built on reclaimed land along the Atlantic coastline in Lagos State, has changed the conversation entirely. With a processing capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil every single day, it is not just the largest refinery in Africa, it is one of the largest refining facilities anywhere in the world, surpassing the capacity of major European refineries, including those operated by Shell and BP. The man behind it is Aliko Dangote, a Nigerian businessman who is also the wealthiest person on the African continent. The project cost approximately $20 billion and took years of planning, financing and construction before it became operational. What it represents goes far beyond one businessman's ambition. To understand why this refinery matters so deeply, you have to understand the problem it is solving. Africa as a continent has enormous oil reserves, but for decades it lacked the refining infrastructure to turn that crude oil into the products people actually use every day. Fuel for vehicles, aviation fuel for airlines, diesel for generators and farming equipment, and the chemical inputs that go into plastics, fertilizers, and countless other products. When refineries across the continent struggled with poor investment, inefficiency, and frequent breakdowns, African countries had no choice but to import refined products from distant markets. That meant paying international shipping costs on top of refining costs, meaning Africans were often paying more for fuel than they should have, given that the raw material came from their own ground. That structural dependency created a vulnerability that went beyond just cost. When global shipping was disrupted, fuel supplies in African countries felt the impact immediately. When international refining margins changed, African fuel prices changed with them. When foreign governments made decisions about energy exports or sanctions, African nations had little ability to insulate themselves. Energy insecurity became a constant feature of economic planning across the continent, and it quietly held back industrialization, manufacturing, and growth in ways that are difficult to fully measure. The Dangote refinery disrupts that entire chain. At full capacity, the facility can meet the bulk of Nigeria's domestic fuel needs, while producing surplus refined products for export to neighbouring countries across West and Central Africa. Instead of importing finished fuel from Rotterdam or Houston, Nigeria is now producing it locally, and will increasingly be supplying it to countries that used to have no closer option than Europe. The economic logic of this shift is powerful. Foreign currency that used to flow out of Nigeria to pay for imported fuel can now stay inside the country and be redirected toward infrastructure, healthcare, education, and industrial investment. Value that used to be created abroad is now being created at home. The employment impact is significant and real. During construction, thousands of workers were involved in building the enormous complex of distillation towers, processing units, storage tanks, and pipeline systems. Now that it is operational, the refinery directly employs engineers, technicians, safety experts, logistics workers, and administrative staff. Around the facility, a whole ecosystem of smaller businesses has emerged. Housing, maintenance services, retail, and training institutions that are building a new generation of technical workers with skills that will serve Nigeria's industrial sector for decades. Dangote has also announced plans to expand the refinery's capacity from 650,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day, which would make it the largest refinery anywhere on Earth, surpassing even the massive Jamnagar refinery in India. The regional impact of the refinery extends well beyond Nigeria's borders. Countries across West Africa that previously depended on refined fuel shipped from Europe now have a supplier that is geographically much closer. Shorter shipping distances mean lower freight costs. Lower freight costs mean more stable and affordable fuel prices in those markets. Supply chains become more reliable because the source is nearby rather than on another continent. This regional dimension turns the refinery from a national asset into something closer to a continental infrastructure project, one that strengthens trade connections and economic integration across African markets in a tangible, practical way. The geopolitical implications of all this are subtle but significant. For a long time, Western countries and their energy industries benefited from the structure of African oil trade. African nations exported crude at one price and imported refined products at a higher price, with the value in between being captured by refineries and trading systems based largely in Europe and North America. That arrangement gave Western energy players a degree of quiet influence over African energy markets. A refinery of this size and capability directly challenges that arrangement. It does not eliminate global interdependence, because oil is still a globally traded commodity. But it rebalances the relationship. Africa is no longer purely a supplier of raw materials in this equation. It is now also a processor, a value creator, and increasingly an exporter of finished energy products. For the United States and European countries watching this development, the adjustment required is strategic rather than confrontational. American and European refiners who previously exported finished fuel to African markets will face increasing competition from a refinery that is cheaper to ship from and deeply integrated into regional demand patterns. The influence that came from controlling the final stage of the oil value chain weakens when Africa starts controlling that stage itself. Diplomatic conversations about energy have already begun shifting, moving away from emergency fuel supply discussions and toward investment partnerships, technology exchange, and regulatory cooperation between more equal parties. There are legitimate questions and challenges that come with a project of this scale. Running a refinery of this complexity requires consistent crude oil supply, highly disciplined maintenance operations, strong technical management, and effective governance. Environmental considerations are also real. Large-scale refining produces emissions and carries environmental risks that must be managed carefully and responsibly. Critics of fossil fuel investment point out that the world is moving toward cleaner energy, and that locking major capital into oil infrastructure carries long-term risks as that transition accelerates. Supporters of the refinery argue in response that Africa cannot skip the step of securing reliable energy for its population and its industries, and that the revenues generated by the refinery can help finance the renewable energy investments Africa will also need. At a deeper level, what the Dangote refinery has done is shift something psychological as much as economic. For a long time, a project of this scale, this complexity, and this ambition was simply assumed to be beyond what African leadership could finance, build, and operate. The successful completion and operation of this facility challenges that assumption directly and permanently. It demonstrates that African-led infrastructure can achieve global standards of scale and quality. It shows that the technical expertise, the financial creativity, and the strategic vision needed to build world-class industrial infrastructure exist on this continent. That psychological shift may ultimately be as consequential as the barrels of fuel the refinery produces every day. The story of the Dangote refinery is really the story of a continent deciding that it has been at the bottom of the value chain for long enough. Nigeria dug the oil out of the ground for decades and sent it away for someone else to finish. The refinery says that chapter is over. The finishing now happens here. The value stays here. The jobs, the revenue, the industrial capacity, and the economic sovereignty that come from controlling your own resources rather than simply extracting them, all of that now has a physical home on the Lagos coastline, humming at industrial rhythm, processing hundreds of thousands of barrels every single day, and quietly rewriting the rules of how Africa participates in the global energy economy.